Hanson, and who reassigned it to Julian Fisher, and it seems like neither one of them is wanting to contact me. And I know that one is no longer in the office, so I just want to know what is it that I need to do to be able to make a complaint about the fact that my victim's rights was violated, because the district attorney made me into a victim in this case, but never ever notified me that I was ever a victim, never investigated, never take any of my testimonies, never allowed me to participate in any public court proceedings. I didn't have an advocate, even though Douglas Christopher Hanson was in a conference with me with Willow Snowfield, who I understand is no longer working there. So I need to know what it is that I need to do to make a complaint about this, because it's wrong.
Well, you are listed as a witness in the case, not...
So then who, okay.
I'm trying to look back through the notes here.
But in the...
I wasn't part of this case.
But in the judgment, it had said that Susan Tripp had told them that he could be back with me and the children. But if I'm just a witness, look, I know the difference between a victim and a witness and the suspect and all of this. I've actually been through a pimp and pandering case as a vulnerable victim, and I'm trying to I would like to understand, why am I listed as a witness? And if I'm the witness, then who's the victim to this case? Because you can't make somebody a sex offender with no victim. And Douglas Christopher Hanson, who used to be the district attorney there, who's no longer working there, who's also a chairman for the Attorney General's Victims' Rights Task Enforcement for the non-compliance. How am I going to make a complaint if it's going to go straight through there? And you guys know what he did. He deliberately used me as a victim doing a case to prosecute my husband, and then later on listed me as a witness. How is that possible when I have it in his own recording saying that he made me into a victim just so I couldn't claim my marital rights?
But, so, the question that I hear you asking is, how do you make a complaint?
Yeah.
That's the question.
How can I make a complaint without it getting to Douglas Christopher Hanson? Because he's still a chairman in a non-compliance committee for the Attorney General's Victims' Rights
He's actually not. He's not. That's not a true statement.
Well, it's not what it has on.
So, that's not true. So,
well, I know.
Making a complaint about someone who was employed in this office.
Julian Fisher is the reassigned DA, and she also talk to me as I was a victim, and I even have recordings of her even making it seem like I was a victim. But you guys are saying that I'm a witness just to exclude me from all court procedures and anything else. That's not right. I mean,
what your question
I know.
Let me answer your question, okay? If what your question is how you file a complaint against a prosecutor in our office, the elected district attorney would be the person that you would file a complaint with. If you're complaining about anyone who is currently a prosecutor in our office or someone who is formerly a prosecutor in our office.
Yeah, because Walter Biglow leaving.
I'm sorry, what?
I said Walter Biglow is going to be eventually leaving, so who would I need to talk to make the complaint to the next elected DA?
Well, Mr. Beglaw is not. His term is up in January of 2019.
I know. I read the art.
He is currently here.
I know.
Currently, he is the elected district attorney, and he is the person that any complaints regarding prosecutors in our office would go through. So there isn't another person, because he is currently our elected district attorney. He is the person, and until that changes, there isn't a different person that's over our office. He is the person. His term, like I said, his term is not up until January of 2019, so that's a year away. And so he is currently our elected district attorney, and so he is currently the person responsible for the prosecutors in our office.
But wouldn't you think that would be a conflict of interest, because he had his own employee violated rights?
Well, what you asked me was who you complained to about a prosecutor in our office, so that's the question I've answered. You have to make an assessment about anything else. I'm not going to give you legal advice about that.
Well, aren't you also part of the Attorney General of Victims' Rights? You know, aren't you the one that takes complaints? Aren't you a director of it?
I'm the director of the Victim Assistance Program.
Right, for Marion County.
Right.
Victim assistance.
Right, so if you just...
But I don't have supervisory authority over prosecutors.
Yeah,
that's not my role in the office. That's what Mr. Begla's role is.
She's not listed as a
He's
victim,
the elected
so
district
how are
attorney.
we
Okay, so
you can certainly file a complaint with him. You can write a letter to him. You can call and ask to speak with him.
Dude, I've tried to call him, and they won't. They always tell me, well, what are the case on, and you need to talk to the DA that's listed on the case, or you need to talk to Kim Larson, or you need to talk to Shannon Civil, or Helen, and I keep going all these.
Have you talked with Helen?
I left her voicemail this morning. Hopefully she'll call me back.
She'll call you back. She will call you back.
She's
with the victims' rights. She's with the Victims' Rights Task Force, and so she is on the state level.
But my question I'm confused on is, if I'm listed as a witness, who's the victim?
There's not a victim listed in this case.
So then,
my God, how am I?
So then, how's my husband a labeled sex offender if there's no victim? And Douglas Christopher Hanson and Jillian Fisher both told me that I was a victim, partial victim, and witness. See, that's where I'm confused at. I know it's not your fault or anything like that, but it's very confusing. You kind of get where I'm kind of coming from, because I was actually 16 and I was actually forced into the lifestyle of prostitution, and the man that pimped on me can never have contact with me, and I'm actually labeled his victim. So that's why I was confused. If I was a witness, then if there's no victim, then how is this even a criminal case?
We can file criminal cases without a victim listed. Not every single crime requires there to be a victim.
So you're telling
the nature of the elements of the crime that have to be proven.
So you're telling me that promoting prostitution, Douglas Christopher Hanson and Susan Tripp prosecuted my husband without me being testified there, but on transcripts, Douglas Hanson said he had talked to the victim. But you guys are saying I'm labeled as a witness.
Ma'am, we seem to be going around in circles. Your primary question to me was, how do I file a complaint? How do you file a complaint? And I've answered that question for you.
So who's your superior?
I'm not the prosecutor on the case, and so you're asking me questions that I'm not going to have the answer.
But you're part of the Victims' Rights Task Enforcement. Don't you guys have committees and you guys talk about these things? And, you can't prosecute a case without a victim. I'm sorry. Another man promoted me as a prostitute, had the same exact charges as my husband, and I'm labeled as a victim, and there was a victim, no witness. So obviously a DA used me to prosecute a case that was illegal. That's why he's no longer in the office. But if I have to write a letter to Walter Biglaw, then I will do so, because I seem like I wrote to you guys, I wrote to the Marion County DA's office before, and I got no response.
If what you're wanting to do is to file a complaint about a prosecutor, Mr. Biglaw is the supervisor of all the prosecutors. He's an elected district attorney, and if you're wanting to file a complaint, that would be my suggestion, is that you write him, you provide him with your contact information, but you need to be super clear about what your complaint is, and so that he's able to respond and address it.
Okay, and is there a way I can also write up an advocate, because she pretended to be an advocate when she wasn't an advocate for me? Or I can't write her up because she's no longer there in the office.
She's not in the office, so there wouldn't be, you certainly can communicate that information as well. But there's not anything to do about that as far as she's not here anymore. So,
that don't mean
but you certainly can include that in your letter. If you,
I'll write a letter again, and hopefully, I'll get a response. But I remember.
And I would encourage you to talk with Helen, and like I said, I'm confident she will call you back. So if you called her this morning, I'm confident she will reach out to you, and she will be able to talk to you about, what options might exist from her level, from her perspective, because she is the chair of the Victims' Rights Task Force for the state.
Okay, well, thank you for talking to me, and hopefully Helen will call me back, and I will write a letter to Mr. Biglaw.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.